Doodlequiz thingy by Josie. Let's go through the steps of mitosis. Bam. Yeah. The first step is interphase. The cell looks like this. The little dot is the nucleus. The DNA is inside the nucleus. And it's kind of the part where the cell rests before it divides in half, and the DNA has to copy itself. The next step is prophase. It looks like this, and these little X things are the sister chromatids, and they're floating around, and yeah. Sister chromatids are identical, or exactly the same. Anyway, the copies have to line up with themselves so that they make the little X's. Next step is metaphase. It looks like this. These little thingies are spindle fibers. They are pulling the sister chromatids apart, but they haven't done it yet. Sister chromatids are lined up in the middle of the cell, and they're held in place by spindle fibers, which are pulling from the edges of the cell. The next step is anaphase, and it looks like this, which reminds me of Totoro's stomach. That could just be me. Bam, 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 bam. Okay, so the sister chromatids are being pulled apart by the spindle fibers, and they're moving to the opposite sides of the cell. So the DNA is moving to each of the sides, and the spindle fibers are pulling them to the side. The next step is telophase, which is kind of looks like a peanut shape, and the sister chromatids are reaching the end of what they have to do. There's a new nucleus starting to form in the cell, so that could be like a new nucleus. And the cell is beginning to split, as you can see here. It's like beginning to branch off. The next step is called cytokinesis, which is when the cell completely splits. The new nuclei have formed, and the spindle fibers are gone. The DNA is once again inside the nucleus, so they're safe. And that's the end of the entire process. Mitosis is asexual, meaning that there's only one parent. There's no fertilization or two parents included. And now we're going to go through some ways that it can be helpful and harmful. Here are some ways that asexual can be helpful and harmful. Some ways that asexual reproduction can be helpful is if in the area there's a lot of heat or high pressure, or if the environment is stable and if it doesn't have too many changes. It could also be helpful if the area doesn't have the area is not very populated, because then you don't have to look for a second mate, or if the animal is immobile. It could also be helpful if an animal is immobile, or if a competitor dies in an area and you need more of a population to fill it up. Okay, sorry, I was a little brain dead yesterday, so that first section of this presentation was really bad. So let's move forward on to meiosis. Da-na-na. Bang. The first step of meiosis is prophase 2, and that looks like this. Sorry, the last part of the recording got clipped off. So as I was saying, the first step of meiosis is of prophase 2, and it looks like this, because now there are two cells that are going to divide. Two. And those are the sister chromatids. They have paired up, as you can see. And that's what happens. It's identical to mitosis, except for the homologous chromosomes are separate. The next step is metaphase 2, which looks like this. Do, 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 do. Bang. And it's the sister chromatids have lined up into the center of the cell, and that's what they look like. The next step is anaphase 2. And it looks like this. So we're just going to pretend that that's actually like legible. And what happens here is that the sister chromatids are pulled apart, and now they're at separate sides of the cells. That's what it looks like. Yeah! So the thing at the top is not, you can't read that at all. That says telophase and cytokinesis 2. What happens here is it's the end, and the new cells divide, and it looks like this, and then this new little nuclei dot, woo, yay, 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 that's what happens, woo, yeah. Mitosis is sexual, woo. Some ways that sexual reproduction could be helpful is if there's a disease, and then you can't evolve to live through the disease, and then everybody dies, and that's not good. It's also useful because then you have a parent to watch the kids and a parent to find food, so like the kids are taken care of and the food is taken care of. It could also help if there's a sudden change in the environment, and then there could be some evolution, and you could help adapt to it. It could help if there's a new area that has it has a good colonization ability, and you could easily find a mate. Yay. Basically, the pros and the cons of sexual and asexual reproduction are the opposite of each other. If that makes sense. An example of a species who has sexual reproduction is humans, like us. This is me. Humans are sexual. Yeah. Example of a species that is asexual is starfish. I'm pretty sure. Did I draw that right? Oh boy. Yeah. I think the way it happens is that the starfish just like breaks off the arm, and then the arm grows. And it grows into a new body. And then, yeah. It could be an advantage for humans to divide sexually is because we're everywhere. Like, basically the world is run by humans. We run the world. That's kind of a bad thing right now, but we're not going to focus on that because humans run the world. That's Earth, if you can tell. So since we run the world, it's kind of pretty easy to find a mate. And we can adapt, even though we don't really need to, because we've got houses. We can live in those. Yeah. Houses are adaptable if they've got air conditioning and heaters. So some reasons why it would be easier for starfish to be asexual is because starfish live at the bottom of the sea. Some starfish do. So that's the sea. There's the little starfish. So it might be hard to find a mate down there since you can't see because it's dark, and I don't think starfish have eyes. So it's easier because you don't have to find a mate, because it's hard to find a mate if you can't see. And also, it's pretty cold down there, and it might be hard, and there's a lot of predators, so maybe it's hard to move around or something like that. Yeah. Another animal that can produce sexually is cats. And cats, they're sexual. This is a cat. Yeah. There. Reasons why it might be easy for cats is because cats can get into a lot of hard places. So say that's a cliff thing, and then you got a cat, and then the cat could just jump onto the cliff. And then there could be a mate there, and then they could have their babies in safety. Yay! Yay! Cat. Another example of an animal who reproduces asexually is bacteria. Most bacteria. I think all bacteria. I could be wrong about that. So this is just fungus. So it might be easier for bacteria because bacteria likes to spread. And if you're asexual, then you get a lot more kids, baby bacterias, in less time. So you could have quick kid. Yeah. That could be a company. And that was my terrible pop doodle quiz on cell division and reproduction. Yay! 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 I hope this grade doesn't count too much towards our report cards.
Made with Doodlecast Pro.